There's social media memes going around about Toby Maguire, Tobias, Vincent Maguire, and they're not good. It's like they are works of just, I don't know, social humiliation. It's taken a route of its own because it's become funny as a standalone meme. But people don't. There's a potential story that's behind that I'm feeling is true, that it's eerily similar to, and it's the story of bullying. So you feel like this could be a similar thing that you've experienced before, or you've seen happen before, and you've kind of buried it in your psyche or your memory. And it's that of when you're in the playground, and let's say it's from a first-person perspective, to drum in how it might feel. So you remember being in a group of friends when you were a kid, and you all of a sudden start feeling like they are making nasty comments and pulling you up on things and just like targeting you for some reason. They're harassing you and they're picking on you. And this happens in such a gaslighty way as well, because if you were to approach any of them and ask them why they're doing that, they would gaslight you even more. And so it's a bullying tactic for toxic friends to try and remove one of their own who they deem as weak. And I think toxic people are on this really like gross journey within the ego that tells them that you need to be in the inner circle, in the upper echelon, right? You need to be part of the club. And this club consists of toxic people who believe that you need to be strong as an individual in order to stay in the club. The club is full of cool people and, massive ego people, essentially. And they're just really, really egocentric. And in order to be in this club of egos, Hollywood, you could call it, you need to be one of them. And they can sense if you're not quite one of them. So they'll sense a threat if you seem to be too high and mighty, or too spiritual, or a too know-it-all, or too popular, or too anything. They're just threatened. And they can wrap it up as, oh, you're just not cool, so you're not going to stay in the club. But we're not going to tell you. We're going to do it behind your back, right? Because that's the kind of people we are. If those tactics work, then you can use that as a tool to manipulate others. And so, fool on them if they can't figure out what's happening. And so all of this like context is going on unbeknownst to you, to you. And so you're only just realizing that all of that stuff, that drama, has come from a place where you buried in your psyche. But it's eerily similar to that. Because that process of you feeling like gradually all of a sudden, it's a contradiction, but it seems to be the case because you're only just putting it together. But it's been happening for a long time. And you're only just realizing it now that it's the same. Hollywood is out to get you. And you're like, it can't possibly be like that. We're adults, we're mature people. And then your eyes start to widen when you think about who actually runs Hollywood. It's the most egocentric. It's the most, narcissistic and self-serving kind of individual, the bully. It's the people from the club. That's Hollywood. And so the sooner you realize that, oh my God, it's not like a conspiracy theory. It's just toxic people. But this might startingly be the actual case. And they will take down whistleblowers who bring attraction to their little club, right? Because it's just like in school. They will find ways to remove you, but that's because the targets, the weaker links, the ones being ostracized, they are targeted one by one and isolated, and they're just betting that they're weaklings and they're not going to figure out what's happening. Because if they knew what was happening, they would know to avoid it. Because they would stay cool, they would stay in the club, they would stay one of them. But because you're not one of them, because you don't think like them, you didn't realize that this is happening to you, this tactic. So it comes back down to that. And I think that's what Toby's going through right now. I don't know how I know this, but I've just got this story in my head, and it just fits like a puzzle piece, you know, right in there. Perfect match. Yeah, that's what I think.